Hey, welcome in, fans, to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. And this is it. This is the last Fanley Cup Series interview we have for you this season. It has been a blast, and we are so excited for the guests that we have to wrap things up. I'm Branden. With me, as always, is Dustin, and we bring to you a man who needs no introduction. You know him, you love him, GangGreenUtesFan, Branden Hockenberry. We've got him on the podcast. Branden, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here. You've had some great, especially this series, man. It's been awesome. I caught Leroy's episode that you dropped everybody's, man. Brian, you've just done a ton. This has been an enjoyable series, so it's a pleasure to be on.
It's been one of our favorites. Dustin and I have spoken off the video cameras and talked about how much fun we've had just talking to everybody, hearing their stories, and this community is so amazing, and you are an integral part of it. You're well known throughout the Clubber Twitter, but for those of our fans who may not know you or aren't on Twitter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an avid sports junkie for all sports. I was born into hockey, pretty much. My dad moved here in 1970 to go, or 69 to go to the University of Utah, and he met my mom, whose brother was the manager of Hygeia Iceland, and got him going when he was a season ticket holder to Golden Eagles from 1970 until he couldn't go, even to the Grizzlies in 2015 about. And I was born, I could skate before I could run. I mean, I was going to hockey games at the Salt House, every Golden Eagle game. So that's where my love of hockey comes from. Like I said, turning 50 this year, crazy. Got 5 kids, 1 grandbaby, and most of you see me going nuts at the games. I'm a big U of U fan, so if you're a tailgater up there, Chaos Corner with the Gamboa's tailgate, Pig Bus, Shoot Shasta, you'll know me up there for a lot of years, decades. I just love sports, man. I mean, that's pretty much what you fill your time with.
Yeah, Utah now is getting to, I mean, it's always been a sports state, right? And now with the addition of the Mammoth, and maybe in a couple years, maybe MLB, we'll see where it is, but the sports landscape is just phenomenal, and especially hockey. It's so great to hear when people talk about the Salt Lake Golden Eagles, because for the newer fans, that's like a chapter in Utah hockey history that they sometimes don't get to be a part of. But we have had numerous people on that have been there, and it's just awesome to hear, because we usually ask, well, what did you like? Have you been a hockey fan? And you've got it with the Golden Eagles. That would have been, I never got a chance to knowingly go. I went as like a baby, but I never knowingly went to the Salt Palace. That is just, it's so fantastic to see that continuity from the beginning of the hockey in Utah all the way up. And now we got the Mammoth here.
Yeah, that's when they announced the Mammoth. I mean, I knew my dad passed away in 2019, but he would have rolled over in his grave if I wouldn't have got season tickets. Man, like, I was waiting and waiting. I mean, I missed it by about 2 hours, the announcement of the deposit, but I didn't care. I didn't ask the wife. I just threw my deposit down. Once they found out, I knew I was getting season tickets. I knew I would be a staple at the games, and it was on.
So you are a season ticket holder, so you've been to pretty much every home game. Surely watched the games on TV, on SEG Media. From your experience of Utah hockey previously with the minor leagues, and how mind-blowing was that experience walking into the Delta Center for that first ever NHL game against the Chicago Blackhawks?
Chills. To see Blackhawks, Bedard down there, that's when it really got real. I mean, that's when you're like, this is what I've been watching my whole life. It was chills. There, you couldn't explain it. I mean, that was such a magical, and just Gunther's first goal, right? I mean, just that whole, the hair standing up on my arms just talking about it still. So, I mean, like I said, I've been to hockey, and I'd been to some other NHL games growing up, and especially Kings games in the Forum in the 80s. That was scary. But it was unreal. And to see Blackhawks, I mean, to put an original 6, even though the Blackhawks are down, these few years, just a decade ago, they were winning Stanley Cups, but just unreal. That's when it was real, seeing that level of play.
Now, you said, like, as soon as the team was announced, you knew you were going to be getting season tickets, and that you've been involved in hockey basically your whole life. Growing up, who was your team? Who did you root for as you were growing up?
Penguins, man. Pens fan. And I'm more rooted with the early years, the Golden Eagles. It would be who they were farm club with. So when they were the Blues early on, I liked the Blues, because that was our parent club. Then they went to the Minnesota North Stars. at the time. And that's when we had Dirk Graham. Dirk Graham ended up having a long career in the NHL. And then I loved the Flame. I mean, even though I was a Pens fan, I became a Pens fan about 85, 86 because of Mario Lemieux. I was always a big dude, especially as a kid. I was a big kid. And so it was really cool to see this, I'm not have to be stuck on defense. You can watch a center like Mario Lemieux. I'm saying you can see that size and speed and know there is hope for me. And I fell in love with the Pens, and they're the only team. I'm a Jets fan of 40 plus years, New York Jets. That should tell you something. Jazz, that's the only team that ever delivered me anything. So Penguins fan is what I've been religiously since about 85.
Now, you said that they're the only team who ever brought you anything. Was it hard to kind of turn your back on them and jump on the Utah Hockey Club bandwagon, or was it just, no, these are my guys now. Bye Penguins. These are my guys.
It was hard. It was hard at first. Luckily, the Penguins have been in the blowing it up phase now once they got rid of Gensel last year. And they haven't been developing much of a farm system because they've been in the replace, the win now. So it was hard. They're still a team, and luckily they're in the East, so I didn't have to worry. And it was weird when the Pens game came. We were the first in the building, and my wife and my son went over on the Utah side for warm-ups. Me and my ninth grader, Brecken, he stayed a Pens fan. He's a Pens fan with me. We actually wore our Pens gear, and we're the first in the building and went down right next to the where they come out. And Sid the Kid, there's almost nobody in the whole stadium. The lights are off, and Sid the Kid comes right out next to us, taping his stick, standing there looking around. I've got the video. My boys just got a sign on the window. I'm like, don't tap. But so it was weird. But what I found, especially that game, because I'd been nervous for that game to come, I'm so attached to the Mammoth and the players. Like I said, the Pens have kind of been destructing, and they're in the end of everything right now. So I don't have a lot of ties, especially to their youth. And then this team with our Mammoth team, from the minor leagues to by the point they played January 27th or whatever, I believe it was, I was so invested in everything Utah that that's when I realized no, Utah Mammoth is number one. And I mean, I'll always still have a soft spot for the Pens in my heart, but you're invested with the players when it's your team, and you just watch everything on YouTube, Instagram, everything, all the podcasts. You get so invested and know so much about everything that I don't even really pay that much attention to the Penguins now. So
good, get rid of them. You never need to even mention the Penguins anymore. But one thing, it has been a reoccurring theme, not only on this podcast but throughout the community, is kind of this idea of family. And you mentioned that your father passed away, and you were able to share hockey memories with him. How special is it for you to be able to share these memories of an NHL team with your kids throughout this season and the many seasons to come?
Priceless. I took my oldest son. My kids go from age 28 down to 12, but I took my oldest son. He just got the first game, the Chicago game, and the littles were pretty mad about that, but I'm like, he's my oldest son, he's going. And just that experience right there, being that first NHL game and having my boy there, that was so magical. And then my littles, they just are hockey fanatics, especially going. And like I said, I only have 2 season tickets, but we bought a bunch through my season ticket rep to take the family or the Smith sticks later in the year. But it would be every other game, and it was just going in early for warm-ups, getting pucks, which we helped a lot of people get pucks. Even my boys would get them for other kids and get theirs. And just every moment that we were making was just magical. I have thousands of hours of video, I swear, from this season, just of pictures of me and my boy. The family is what it's about. And I just being able, and my kids are so, like I say, they're playing street hockey now. They love hockey even more than they did before. It was really special to be able to share that with their family, because that is what it's about, is the memories.
Now, memories-wise, you went to all the games. They're super early, getting pucks, watching warm-ups. Whether it's a moment on the ice, something in the game, or just something with your family, do you have a favorite moment from this season?
So many. I got to say, number one's that Gunther goal. And I know that's kind of the easy way, and I've heard it on yours. That first goal, and just him turning around and giving the celebration and just the eruption and the vibes in the Delta Center that would be my most special moment. But then next to that would probably be both games. My kids got stick from Sheriff Krause, both younger kids from Sheriff, how he was trading towards the end of the year. them getting their stick, especially my youngest, who was the last one to get it and so worried he wasn't going to get it. Just seeing the smile on his face, and now he's got that priceless treasure from the inaugural season. Both of them do, thanks to Sheriff. But just getting the stick, they didn't buy it at the yard sale, they didn't anything. They got it from the player at the game, and the smile on their face would probably be my best moments. Was those two.
Those are some excellent moments, and no shame in choosing the Gunther goal. I mean, that's going to be iconic throughout the history of the Utah Mammoth. So no shame in the Gunther goal. But now, speaking of Gunther, and I'd be remiss not to make the joke that as a Jets fan, you're used to heartache, and so you can deal with the development of our younger players and watch them grow. And we've got such an exciting pool of talent. But if you had to just pick one of them, who's your favorite player on the Utah Mammoth roster?
His effort on the ice, his stick poking, the poke checks he does, his effort for the puck. I think he's that greasy, gutty guy that we just need. I think he's going to develop more into it. He's so young, but I'd have to say Donor would be my number one.
Sounds like an honorary donor is trying to become a full-fledged member just to please them with every answer. There you go.
Sash. There it is.
Honorary donor right there. But yeah, like I say, his aggressiveness, I just love his effort when he's on the ice. And I mean, he has some slow moments where you don't see a lot, but I think he has he's so key at keeping the puck in the offensive zone, back checking and I just love his pokes with the stick are just fun to watch throughout the game.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, I joke about you giving that answer to become a full-fledged member, but that's a very legitimate answer, especially being from Utah. We tend to gravitate towards those, like, work hard, extra effort, junkyard dog type players. And so he's a very common answer in this state. Speaking of the donors, one thing that you've really been involved in is, like, the community involvement. That's what I've loved about this team, about the fan base. Like, and you started it all off with that, like, that barbecue, that meetup in Copperton. What was that like, setting that up, and then how was the turnout versus what you were expecting?
Turnout was great, but it started, like you say, the community is what's best, and it's grown and grown, you know. I mean, you've had on it to get Brock and Branden on, talk about their EE visits and stuff, because a lot of my friends now come from that crew, but I only went there later in the year. But I was meeting people throughout the year at warm-ups, throughout the game. And then Twitter kind of really broke loose right after Christmas with your mom, Hawk. I know you guys had your mom, Johnny and them on. And really, that's when our Twitter group kind of started to really unite and take off, because people are like, hey, who's a good follow? And then slowly my name would just be among, hey, there's this guy's pretty good, this guy's in it. And it developed to where you had the watch parties, you know, on the away games. And toward the end of the year, we were getting sad. It's like, there's not going to be any more of these, you know, pretty soon we're done, you know, it's ended. And what are we going to do? So it kind of started there. And Twitter, but just like, hey, let's do a cookout. That's what I said, because I love to throw. I cook for sometimes famous people. I do a lot of big cooking and stuff on the side. And I love to throw big parties, barbecue parties, whatever it is. So kind of threw it out there on Twitter, and everybody's like, dude, that sounds like a great idea. And got with a couple people. We talked about it. Ogden Mammoth, Mike, who donated the Traeger for Clubber's Cookout. He owns Ace Hardware. Nelson's up there in Ogden. He was a big supporter, and we met at warm-ups. But he's like, this sounds great, dude. Let's do it. I'll help you. It just took off from there. And then I had the idea, well, hey, instead of asking everybody, because I'm not going to pay for the food, instead of, hey, bring $5, let's try and raise money. I had a bunch of people want to donate, and we ended up raising about $750 just for the food, which covered every bit of food for the cookout. So if people didn't have money, I was telling them to come, or if you did donate, we still wanted to donate to Be the Hope charity. We were their launch off, but it just came together to, hey, let's raise money for charity. And then it's, hey, let's bug Ryan Smith to get a bunch of gear. And he ended up donating, like, it had to be probably $6,000-7,000 worth of gear, because it was 100 and something hats alone. But I mean, so it just turned out great. And the event, the Channel 4 News ended up coming and doing a live 5 o'clock top story shot from there. And I don't even know how they knew. The community helped, man. They donated. Everybody showed up. Like Branden said, he couldn't stay long, but it was a pretty big turnout, and I was pretty impressed. So we raised a good chunk of money. I think after the food was covered, we raised an extra $1,500 just off raffle tickets and food prices for the start of that charity.
Yeah, it was awesome just going in, and I wasn't sure what to expect. If, am I going to be walking through here looking for people? And I was a bit of a wallflower for the short time I was there. But man, just seeing everybody's just enjoying themselves. Everybody's eating, and you turn as you walk through the building, and there's all the stuff that they brought from hoodies and hats and everything. And it was just like, that's also the kind of thing that when people like you are doing these things, these events to build this community up, and the team takes notice. And it was not something that, you're like, oh yeah, there's a Clubber's Cookout. Look at me, I'm going to pad my pocket. No, like this was an incredible event, and for a charity. Are you involved with the Be the Hope, or was there anything in particular that you chose that particular charity for this year's cookout?
Well, to be honest, puck drop, Destin and Cole. I had kind of met Kendra, her name. I've met her a bunch of times now. They've been part of the LLS, like when Spicy signed it, overtime cards and stuff. They've been, their daughter and then I heard the story. Their daughter's on her second time fighting cancer right now. And they know how hard it is and the resources that need. So they're starting their own foundation. And first annual Clubbers Cookout, it was right as they're getting their tax status and picking a name and a little logo for theirs. So it was just, in my opinion, once I heard about it, perfect union. I'm like, hey, come up, bring your donation, I'm going to use you, and let's have all the money go straight to you and just get you a little springboard. And, and kids cancer, they're fighting kids cancer in Utah. They want to just help. They know how hard it is, like I say, and the resources. So I thought they're perfect jumpstart for them, jumpstart for what's going to be an annual Clubbers Cookout. So,
but that's an excellent charity to choose. It's like, it's again, part of the community. Like, this is just like, it's all encompassing into the Utah Mammoth community as a whole. And we've spoken a lot about how there's multiple podcasts, there's multiple spaces being held, there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and nobody's stepping on each other's toes. Nobody, there's no anger amongst, everybody's doing their own thing, all for one goal: supporting the Utah Mammoth and this community. And it's just incredible to watch, and the people you meet and the connections you make. It's just been incredible on and off the ice.
It definitely has. That is what it's about, man. I'm older and wiser in my years. I'm far from perfect, but there's just so much negative. And I do this. A lot of people I talk about mental health and stuff a lot on my Twitter or on any of my social medias, because I've battled mental health my whole life. But there's just so much anger and negativity and all this out in the world that I don't want to be that. I want to be part of something better. I don't want to have even my nose in any of that. There is so much good in this world, but the problem is we're rubberneckers, or the news like to show one good story. They lead with all the 10 bad ones, not to blame the news or anything, but there's just so much negativity. Let's build each other up. Let's build. We're at the start right now, man. And to be at the start, you build a foundation that we can build. And my kids are seeing this. Their kids are seeing this long after I'm gone in 10, 15, 20, 25 years, whatever it is. Hopefully we've laid the stage and the foundation, but it's the community that stays together, and there is room for everybody. There's room for everybody's opinions. There's room for everybody to start their cast or show or short, just whatever it is. There's room, and that's what I love. And there's so many great people in this community.
Now, with the community, as somebody who organizes these type of things, do you have the next meetup, the next off-season thing planned yet?
Thanks for that. Yeah, we do somewhat. The exact dates are going to be announced soon, but we're going to do a kind of a mini tour of our minor league baseball parks after the Clubbers Cookout. I believe, Branden, it's your friend with the bees, right?
So, to be honest, I never met him. I posted that one picture of the bees game that I was at, and then he reached out to me, and I was like, I just want you to know, I was only attending the cookout. I had nothing to do with setting it up. So I was just the middleman connecting you two.
Well, yeah, the bees shortly after, whether it's middleman through Branden, the bees, one of their salesmen reached out and said, hey, we'd like to do a Clubbers night. And I just got that schedule. I put the poll up today on my Twitter of what days, Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday afternoon, would, to gauge interest on which is going to get more attended, because it'll be $18 tickets. We'll have the link and we'll have the game up pretty soon, but $5 of that is going to go straight to Be the Hope. So, and we won't all be, I'm going to try, hopefully they'll put us all close to each other. I mean, they can't just give us designated rows or anything, but that's going to be a fun event. So at the B Stadium, and get clubbers out there. And I know a bunch of clubbers are big in baseball. Leroy's big in baseball. I mean, just so many clubbers are big into baseball. And then the Ogden Raptors, like I said, Mike, my buddy Mike that helped with the event up here. He knows the owner of the Ogden Raptors real good, so we're going to be doing $5 tickets down there. That game will be announced, but we're just trying to get together. These are simple things for come a night at the ballpark or a Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, and that's what's on next. And I might be throwing out a first pitch at a Kearns League called the Marshalls or something, I think, but that one's still on the burner. But that's what's up next over the next 2 to 3.5 weeks. We're going to have those 2 games, and I'll have them announced pretty soon.
Those are going to be fun at building that sports community as a whole. If you need help with the Ogden thing, I live 7 minutes from the stadium, so it's right down the road from me in Ogden.
Better see you there.
We will absolutely be there, and I will try to make the trip down south as well. Before we get into the GM hat segment, I do want to ask you something, because we talk about like positivity. I got to tell you, one thing that I love is seeing GangGreenUtesFan no context videos, and so you have become a legend for the videos that you do of just you talking about a lot of different things. Sometimes it's mammoths, sometimes it's sports in general, and sometimes it's just your thoughts on things. Like, is that have you been doing that for a long time, or did that kind of just start this year?
No, I've been, what people see with the mammoth is how I've been, whether it's with my, like sitting here in the garage. This has been my man cave where I complain about my Jets, my Utes. I mean, I've been the same as far as that goes, just making crazy videos when I just feel like it, because I'm not afraid. There's sometimes I wake up in the morning and think, oh, that wasn't the best one, but oh well, it's out there in the interwebs now. Bye-bye, fly little butterfly. But no, I've definitely been that way for a long time. I mean, now, like I say, I focus on a lot more mammoth, especially this year, but no, I've been ranting and raving and not afraid to discuss my feelings quite often for a long time.
That makes you authentic. Like, that's like, I think everybody is very concerned about the image they portray on social media and online. And we all want to, like, everybody wants to be friendly, but in some aspects, like, the authenticity of ourselves kind of gets lost in that, because everyone's afraid, like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong person. That's I hadn't followed you before this, and man, that's the highlight, just seeing you as you talking, and it's just been so fantastic. So don't ever stop that, and I'm excited to watch the Utes ones coming up for football season.
Yeah, football season's a whole nother animal. When you got 2 kids playing tackle football on Saturdays for 4 months in college, I got to worry about the schedule, getting up there, because, like I say, I'm a staple at the tailgate up there with Chaos Corner. Got my buddies are up by the preschool, Garcia's. I know you're a big U of U fan, right?
Dustin is probably the bigger of the two, but I started going tailgating with Dustin, and then my parents got into the tailgate lot. But most of the games I had season tickets with Dustin. So Dustin has really, I mean, I've always been a fan of Utah, but Dustin took my Utah Utes fandom to the next level. Like, he is highlights Utes. He is the Ute man on the podcast.
Let's go. What's really cool is my buddy had a barbecue on Monday. Just off topic real quick, but my buddy Ute Shasta, they're the Shasta trailer. John, he bought that to carry it on. They're right below Pig Bus, and they had our friend, more their friend, I don't know him as well, Bob, coming in from out of town. So he did a barbecue and kind of a Juneteenth thing. Well, John Shasta, he's good friends with Coach Witt. And Coach Witt just showed up to the barbecue and kicked it with everybody. And this was on Monday. And I worked and got home and didn't want to go across the valley. And then when I saw all my friends with Coach Witt and they just hanging out, and I'm like, you idiot. But that's, yeah, story for a different time. But go Utes.
Opportunities missed, but not opportunities lost. There will be more time. And maybe next time we'll be talking about barbecuing with Ryan Smith or Andre Tierney. So, but let me ask you, do we want to get into the GM talk now, or do we want to talk a little bit more about the experiences? We like to talk to the season ticket holders about their experience, because Dustin and I, we got to a few games, but most of our experience was from SEG Plus, watching the televised games. Do we want to talk a little bit more about the evolution of the in-arena experience before we get into the GM talk?
Real quick on that, because if you guys run a lot of games, because that's one thing got me noticed too. The big screen found me a lot. Say that, the Jumbotron. From the start of the year, that's where a lot of people would recognize me or come up and say. And one of the coolest things was towards the end of the year, the Bear did the jump Did you see how Bear did jump at the start of every game when you were there?
No.
The Jazz Bear, he'd come up somewhere in the upper bowl and he'd start the jump right as they're about to drop the face off, like right as they're at the start of the game, and then keeps jumping. He's on the Jumbotron. Well, 9 of the last 10 games, the Jazz Bear, Hockey Bear, who I'd been buddies with all year, came and did the jump to start the game with me at my seats. And it was awesome. And then the last game, he does the jump and high five goes off, comes back 5 minutes later, and I got my second stick. Guy presented me with the team autograph stick for doing the jumps with the Bear. They did it on the Jumbotron. It came out of the blue in a surprise. But that was one of my greatest moments. Just with of the year, but just the end game experience was so fun being there, and just everybody. There's so many people, and they brought the Jumbotron around. I mean, if you can get out to the games, do. There's nothing like the live feeling there, but we can go into GM talk now or whatever you want, man.
Dustin's getting T-shirts tossed at him, so it sounds like we're going to stay at the arena. But I want to talk one thing I want to talk about, because I thought it was like the most interesting thing, and it kind of, from what I saw, it kind of tapered off. So I don't know if that was a decision made by the team that they didn't want to endorse it, but the Celly Cam, those first few weeks of the game, especially that inaugural game, man, with everybody chugging, the little people chugging out of prosthetic legs. I mean, the beer chugging cam was so hype. And then I didn't really see it towards the end of it. I mean, I saw it a little bit, but I feel like, especially that inaugural game, it was like if you were on the Jumbotron, like you were chugging beer, and it was kind of like the coming out party of hockey fans like their beer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, different crowd, definitely. The arena had been open for 30 years, and we set the record for beer sales that night. But I heard different stories on that, and I think part of it was some pushback, because you did start to hear, and you'd see where the Jumbotron, if people hurried and tried to start chugging, started to cut away from them real quick at some games. But then they did do the Bud Light Celly Cam, because it was a sponsor. So, and they didn't do it at every game, but they did it a few times every other game or towards the end, and that's when they'd show up. But it did die down, and I've heard, I don't know a whole lot about it. I think what I did hear is, that it was frowned upon because of, obviously the state religion, which, whatever. I heard it, but you're right. It did it went completely away for a little, but then Bud Light is such a sponsor that, so when they would actually say Celly Cam and announce it, that's when they'd go around and show them. And like I said, they weren't even doing that every game, but, they pick or choose. And there's nothing wrong with it. You saw the lady take off her leg and drink out of her leg. Did you see that one? Their prosthetic. Yep. I think she did it twice in the year. You had that first game. I think it was the first game. You had short people that made a big YouTube, and that thing went viral. Then you'd have some games where there was one guy, they showed him like 7 times one game. And I'm just thinking, good thing he's in the Toyota Club with tip. $200. But I'm like, how's he even walking? I mean, because chugging's different, man. You're sipping on one, but he was chugging, and they showed him 7 times. And I think after that, people started hey, we don't need to be seeing people drunk. Plus, you saw kids starting to chug when they'd get on the camera at the game. Some kids would, whether it was their soda or their Frazzles, some kids would start acting like chug. And I really think that might have tipped a little bit of the leverage to where, hey, we're influencing kids to do something that, might be frowned upon.
Yeah, my first reaction to it was kind of just like you said about the price. I was like, how do these people afford to chug that beer? That's a $16 beer. And then I was fortunate enough to go to the Toyota Club, and I get in line for a drink. I'm buying my mom a beer, and I get ready to pay for the beer, and she just hands me to it. And that's when it dawns on me, alcohol is also included in the Toyota Club. So that makes it a lot easier to chug the beer when it's included in the ticket price. My first reaction was like, if I got in this camera, like, no, I paid good money for this drink. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely.
All right, let's talk GM talk. The draft is coming up. This episode will publish days before the draft and when free agency opens up. And everybody knows out there that this podcast, mostly me, is a huge Mitch Marner fan, and I really want to see us make a run at it. But we'll start with free agency. Are there any players out there in free agency, or maybe through a sneaky trade, that you would like to see play in a Utah Mammoth uniform next year?
It's so hard. The ones I want to see, I mean, obviously Bennett, but he ain't going anywhere. I mean, I think he'll give somewhat of a little team discount. I can see him not leaving. I like a lot of what I hear. I mean, I'm not as plugged in as you guys, especially on the trade. I like the Rossi theories I hear because of Bear's relationship with him and the type of player he is. I mean, you loved seeing it at the Worlds, which there's no chance apparently, but I'd love to see Thompson just looked like he worked with Kels and you know what I'm saying? The chemistry just looked right there. And when it comes to Marner, I mean, I'm on the fence of where I've heard, don't bring him, do bring him, don't give him this money. I just think he's at a stage of his career. I honestly think the Canes are the favorite to get him. But I just think he's at where he wants to go that team that's right here already. He doesn't want to come and wait his prime helping build, hoping maybe in 4 or 5 years we're at the Stanley Cup level. Because to be honest, we're easily, even if we catch lightning in a bottle, I can't see us having any shot at the Stanley Cup finals for like 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. When you see playoff hockey,
Right.
playoffs and build, you got to make the playoffs. Then you got to learn how to win in the playoffs. Then you got to learn how to win 2 rounds in the playoffs. So I just see Marner as a different spot there. Like I say, I've heard the Ehlers. I kind of wouldn't mind that, but the Rossi one probably intrigues me the most. If something like that could happen, I liked his little spunk, and that would be it for me.
So you hit the nail on the head with the comment about in terms of, and that was a reoccurring theme this year of like learning to win and stuff. But watching the NHL playoffs, it seems like there's that next level, right? The top teams shift into that next level. And it pained me to say that, like, I'm not sure what Utah's next level looks like. And maybe, like we said, they just aren't ready yet. And at this point, just getting into the playoffs just to see playoff atmosphere, I think would be fine. I would accept a few first round exits as we get over that hump. So you're probably more lenient than Dustin and I. Do you think next year is playoffs or bust, or are you willing to, even if we don't make the playoffs, that's okay, just be patient?
No. I mean, I don't think, if somehow it comes close and we didn't make it, the world's not falling. But I think especially for Bear, right, I think it's playoffs or bust. I mean, you're in year, what now? It'll be 5 for him, right? On the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
At some point, there's already all the rumors of Ryan Smith's golf buddy and, stuff like that. So I think it's a must for Bear. But I mean, and yeah, for me, I really want it. Like, if for some reason we miss out by 1 point or, it's close down at the end, is the sky falling? No. But you definitely got to get to the playoffs because until you do, like you say, it starts over and it starts round 2's a different level. Round 3. I mean, our biggest thing with Utah that they're not even close is the physicality. We got just beat around. Especially when you're at the game, just saw all the hits, lack of hits. It seemed they hit a lot more on the road. At home, we would just be lifeless. And you get to the playoffs, you finish every play with a hit. If you watch the playoffs from first round on, everybody is a hit. It is a hit. You are hit or being hit on. That's how you finish a play. You get rid of that puck, you're taking a hit. And if you're close to that puck, you're given that hit. Because that's where it raises in the level, the physicality in the playoffs. And that's where you got to be able to even stay healthy and be deep, and tough, which hockey players are. But the hitting is where I think we're really far behind, but that's where those 2 defensemen, the smashes, shoot, you better the names. I like what we've got coming in the pipes, and then especially our younger guys getting older are more physical, and I loved Cooley's development this year. If you saw from the start of the year till the end, giving it back, not putting up with it, getting some fight in there. So you see that growth, but I think that's where our biggest jump, that and scoring, obviously, and not having a goalie play 19 in a row. Physicality is just what I really want to see us improve, that I think we're light years when you look at what, especially to make it to even your conference finals in the playoffs. The amount of physicality you have to have, we're so far away. But by so far, that's some prospects a couple of years up, 3, 4 years of growth from some of our guys, maturity. That's what you hope to see.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, your favorite player, Josh Stone, he was one of those players that I absolutely slept on. And to be honest, just straight disrespected him. When he got sent to the AHL, I thought that's the last we'll see of Josh Stone this year. He's not coming back. And then when he came back and the egg on my face or eating crow pie or whatever the phrase is, I apologize to Josh Stone because he crushed it, and he plays with that that intensity that we're hoping, and hopefully it's a youthful intensity that just grows and develops into a mature intensity. And I think it's also important to re-sign Jack McBain. He led the team in hits, and he's one of those guys that he's a tone setter that can score, which is exactly what the modern NHL wants out of its enforcers, like a guy like Sam Bennett, winning the Conn Smythe, 16 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, he's not in the regular season. He's not
50 points in the regular season. 50 points in the
exactly.
regular season. Guess when he shows up? When it matters,
Yep.
because it's a cup.
Yep. And that's what we want to see. And I think that Jack McBain has that element, which worries me because I think other teams also see that. Hopefully his agents and Bill Armstrong can come to an agreement. Love to see him get re-signed.
Well, he's Gunther's roommate too. So, Gunther has a little bit of pull, I would think, with liking his buddy, his pal. I think some chemistry might be there.
So.
Not that they straight listen to players, but when you're talking about your star player you just signed, to your 7 years, you got your others coming up. You got to keep that core nucleus. And that's why I love Bear for the coach of what we are right now. Everybody get rid of Bear or fine bringing this. Bear has built these guys. We are a young team that relates to Bear. I mean, yes, he's got to bring us to that next level and prove that he can do it in the NHL. But his attitude meshed with our young players, that's our core. That's what we got going forward. Yes, we re-signed Cole for a year and Mata for 2 or whatever. Like, yes, we need some of that veteran leadership. But McBain, like you said, is a key part that's going to become that veteran leadership here in 3-4 years, even getting better into his prime and become that core piece. So we better keep him. I agree with you.
I tell you, it's the waiting is the hardest part. We see like all the posts today about now that the Stanley Cup's over, like now we're into the true off season. It's so long. And so I look at like, I don't even want to wait 3 months for NHL hockey. And so now I'm trying to convince myself, well, man, you're going to have to wait 4, 5, 10, 15 years. Like this is your life. And I want a time machine. I can just zoom to the good parts and then reverse and get through the doldrums.
Fair.
Have you been keeping your eye on any drafts? There's so much draft news, man. I can't keep track of it. Every other day, I hear who we're going to draft, who we're not going to draft. Have you followed any of the draft stocks at all?
Yeah, if you're on Twitter, you really can't avoid it with the crew, the circles we see, which is good because that's where I've learned it. Like I say, as much as I'm a sports hockey, I was so busy doing other things a lot that, I try and catch some podcasts later or some stuff, but I'm learning my information from a lot of these people, thank goodness. So I have been following a lot, and I lean towards Desnoyers. Is that how you say his name? But
I think so.
The Martin that's making the huge jump. What's scary with him is supposedly he was 10th or 11th, but so do you reach at 4, and hey, Sam Bennett was a 4th pick. So you hear so much. I think I would go more from what I've seen. I would lean towards Desnoyers if he's there.
I think that would be a solid pick. I cannot go wrong pick.
The draft, I hope, you never know with Bill because like everybody said, the pick, nobody knew just even from what I've heard and researched before, even now looking back when we weren't the Mammoth, he keeps his cards to the vest, man. And I think if there's a trade out there that just instantly, you just never know. That's what's so exciting about it is getting that magic lottery ball and being up to the 4th spot. Because imagine how dead this summer would be if we were picking 14th,
No excitement at 14 this year.
No, none whatsoever, especially then we're all waiting for what's a trade. Come on, go out and spend money. But getting that 4th pick, I think focused everybody's efforts more to wow, man, we could pull, that's huge, a 4th pick, and 4th picks don't get traded much. With Bill Armstrong, like I said, he's a poker player, man. He's a poker player, so you never know with him. And I definitely don't follow inside sources enough to even smell the rumors unless I see him amongst our Utah Mammoth chat club.
I just put names on the wall, throw a dart, and I say that's the guy I want, But I don't envy the position Bill Armstrong finds himself in, but I do agree the consensus is in Bill Armstrong we trust, and I think he's going, whatever decision he makes, whatever he sees and whoever he sees, or whatever he does with that 4th pick, I will trust him and believe that he has a plan for it, and it's going to be the right decision.
100, man. I'm impressed. Another cast, but I loved his the episode 1 of Nashcast. this year, how they changed it up a little. I just watched that one, just watching that man speak. Like, he just exudes confidence in me, man. He makes me want to run through a wall just watching him talk. And he's huge. Like, I don't want to piss him off. You watch his fights from the days of his playing, and then you just hear him talk. I'm telling you, he just had me ready to run through walls for that guy. So, yep. Trust him, and I like where we're going, so I'll take his word on it.
He's also physically intimidating. Like, he's an imposing man. Like, if I saw him on the streets, he's just a man that commands respect, and you're just like, yes, sir, thank you, yes, yep, yes, sir, may I have another type person? Like, he's just he has a commanding presence, and there's that picture of him, like, sitting at the draft booth last year, just like, let's do this, like, pure focus. He knows what he wants, he knows what he needs, and he goes after it. So I'm very, very excited for the future of the Utah Mammoth, and I think we all are, and excited for the future of the Nashcast, because there's one more thing I want to ask you before I toss it to Dustin to see if he has any questions. The Nashcast podcast I enjoy. I do enjoy that. Didn't so much enjoy the Nashcast on TV. But let me ask you this, Branden. What if, I know he's on the KSL podcast now, but what if the team brought Liam O'Brien, the spicy tuna, into the broadcast booth? Yay or nay, spicy tuna becoming a maybe not the play-by-play guy, but they get him in the broadcast booth somehow, some way.
Well, 10 years, right? I want Spicy to play and fight first, but hey, I love Spicy, man. Look at here's at his signing, because the whole team sees me crush beers on my head, and a lot of them follow me on my IGs and stuff. But at the signing, I paid $25 or $30 for him to sign this. This is a can I crushed on my head for a video I made for him that he retweeted and showed the team. And just bringing up Spicy. I love him. But honestly, our broadcast crew, I love Nick. I mean, we haven't Olchik, and he grows. He's so good. But I really liked our broadcast team, our social media teams. They won awards. Like, I love this season. That's another thing with just the start. The whole community, like Nick gave me tickets to a game, his lower bowl tickets to the New Jersey Devils game, because I had sold mine to a friend, and then I'd even got some extras through my season ticket rep for my godson. And then all of a sudden I wanted to go to that game because I just met Ryan Smith, pulled me down to the bench the game before that. So Nick he's on Twitter, because I saw tickets were like $130 for nosebleeds. I'm like, hey, if anybody sees a ticket less than 100 and whatever bucks, I'm not paying that to go to the game. I don't want to go that bad. Next thing I know, Nick Olchik sees my tweets at me, hey, shoot me a DM. We got you covered. We love your spirit. So, I mean, the broadcast team, and I love Mitch. I just think you bringing him up. I love everything about what we did this year. And I'm just the whole crew. I think we were so lucky. They brought in a great team. And it's been said by a million people, what Ryan Smith and SEG did. And it's not just Ryan Smith. It's because he surrounds himself with such a great group of people and lets people make decisions. To move the franchise, to do what they did, to have the success we did have. Yeah, bumps in the road and this and that. But to think, we didn't even think we had a team 15 months ago or whatever it was. The players moved here. These people moved here to put together broadcast crews, put together ice, to just everything. And now he's doing it, the practice facility and the stadium renovation, man. Just what is going on with our just overall, the whole scope of things is just awesome, man. Like I say, run through a wall gives you hope for that future.
Utah's finally getting the respect it deserves, and we as fans are the recipients of it. Dustin, do you have any?
Don't move here. Sorry.
Yeah,
we don't talk about how beautiful it is there. I'm not in Utah right now, so I'll talk about how beautiful it is in Oregon. Everybody should move to Oregon. Oregon's awesome. Move here. Leave Utah alone.
Yeah, the traffic is horrible. There's nothing to do. No nightlife. You're gonna hate it if you come here. You think it's a good place to raise your families? No. You got mountains everywhere that just with rocks and trees, and they could just fall at any time, and you don't want to deal with that when you got kids.
I live by the biggest pit in the world, the biggest open pit, and it's just a pit.
The kid's gonna fall into it anytime now. So don't come to Utah. I like it. Justin, do you have any questions before we move into our rapid fire?
I was going to say, I have 5 questions just burning a hole in my pocket right now. Well, I guess technically I have 3. You have 2. Unless we run into technical difficulties and you have to ask some questions yourself, totally on the interview.
We've been known to have those issues, but not this time. Branden, you know this segment. This is it. This is the final time that we get to do this year on the Fanley Cup. Are you ready for the 2-line pass rapid fire segment?
Ready as I'm going to be. Let's go. Fire.
Rapid fire. We've got 5 questions for you. Just no expanding. First thing that comes to your mind, like a Rorschach test, just immediately what comes to your mind, blurt it out, don't expound it, on to the next one. Got it? All right. First off, both of them top of their game. Are you going burger or pizza?
Burger.
All things considered, University of Utah or BYU?
Oh. Family on 3, 1, 2, 3, family! Let's go, Utah!
Big spoon or little spoon?
Big spoon.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Absolutely not.
What Pepsi or Mountain Dew innovations coming in the last half of the year are you most excited to try?
Summer Freeze. Summer Freeze.
Is that a Mountain Dew flavor?
Yeah, it's the summer one they're releasing. Summer Freeze right now. I mean, honestly, I'd like to expand on that. I hate that they use the Dew name and just take Dew Nation with most of the new flavors. They taste like garbage. Like, I'm just an OG Dew guy. I like Dew. But the Summer Freeze isn't too bad, especially cold, and that's the one right now that's coming out here this week or so.
What is that? What is it? Mountain Dew with like?
It's meant to be after the bottle pop. It's raspberry. It's you know the bottle pops, the white, yellow, red ones that the bomb pops. I think believe they're called.
Yeah.
So it's lemon, raspberry, and cherry.
Perfect. That sounds really good.
They use the popsicle kind of even in the logo and stuff like that. Yeah. It's actually one of the better ones. They released it about 3 years ago. To how how they do that with certain things and take them roll back. Yeah. But so everybody go try your Summer Freeze. That is the Mountain Dew flavor of the summer and what you should be excited for.
It sounds better than what was it the last two summers, the red, white, and dew, and then the dew with like 50 flavors in it.
Last year was really bad. They did the Liberty. They did 3 flavors, but they were blue, white. They actually did 3 flavors last year: the blue, white, and a red one. Like all 3 different, not blended together, and that was a loss. So, I mean, like I say, you can't just put Mountain Dew on it. Yes, you'll sell it at first, but hey, just keep the Pepsi Fire away from me. Pepsi Cinnamon, Pepsi Fire, no matter what you call it. Don't bring that back. Don't bring Pepsi Cheetos back. No more.
I'm just a Mountain Dew Code Red guy. If I'm going to drink Mountain Dew, man, Code Red, that was the pinnacle of offshoot brands. I love me some Code Red.
Yeah, Code Red's popular. I'm a Livewire guy, if that. But other than that, I drink way too much Mountain Dew a day. I'm ashamed to say how much I drink probably today. With the free fountain machine and a free cooler of it right there, some days I probably have 10 or 12 I'm at work, man.
Oh, yeah, I can attest to that. Having that free machine in the break room, and then also like the employee sales, and then this is something that I ran into that you didn't have to run into, but like I used to drive a truck and deliver Pepsi, and I used to deliver to like all the Fizz and Swigs and stuff on Wednesdays, and I'd wind up getting like 2 or 3 32-ounce sodas by the end of the day because I just deliver and they'd say, hey, do you want a drink? I'm like, yeah, why not? You're giving me a free drink, I'll take it. And then just by the end of the day, I'm like, I drank 96 ounces of soda today. Really, really good of me.
Yeah. I have to force myself to drink a 32-ounce water in between every 32-ounce Mountain Dew. And a lot of times I'll fill it up, throw it halfway away, or I'll open a can and take a sip and throw it away because unfortunately we can do that. But because when you work in the warehouse, I can, oh, look, this broke. And now it's in the break room fridge. So love it.
The insider secrets. And you heard it here first. Mountain Dew. Now I've already lost it. A Summer Breeze, guys. Summer Freeze. Summer Freeze.
Summer Freeze. F-R-E-E-Z.
It's like the indoor soccer team that we had for like 2 years before that went away. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It's a throwback. The Utah Freeze, indoor soccer at the Maverick Center. good
Yeah.
times. Branden, this has been amazing. I think we could probably talk to you for another hour, but we don't want to keep you for too long. But do you want to give it any shout outs or any final thoughts you want to give before we give you your night back?
Well, thank you guys for having me on. Like I say, you've had a ton of cool guests, especially this Fanley Cup Series has been great. So thank you for what you're doing for the community and everything on the social media. And just there's too many people to thank in a way. I just hope I love everybody, man. Stay positive. I am so thankful for the support I get, whether it's online, in person, for the events they throw, or we just got such a great community. There's so many people out there. Like I say, let's just keep building it. Build upon, man. No need. There's room for everybody. Let's all have the same goal, like you say, and the baseball, please, when I announce the baseball, if you see it and you can make your way out, let's show up. I can't recruit everybody, but the more we build this clubber nation, I see people all the time, especially at the cookout. Oh, I wish I could have come. Or especially on Facebook, I saw people once they saw how cool it was. Like, I wish I would have seen it. It's like, well, I promoted it on every platform. Everybody shared it in every group, man. It's just a lot of times people think, oh, it's just this or that. No, the Clubbers Cookout is annual. It was great. The more events we do, the more events we bring notice to the Utah Hockey Club or Utah Mammoth. Got to get that out of that. We are clubbers for life. I don't know if everybody knows that or agrees, but we're staying clubbers. A lot of people seeing your show should know that. We came up with that on our own, like Leroy talked about. Just let's build this community. Let's be a helping hand. Let's support each other on, like, I try and support every event or every pod, just sharing it, share everything out, watch things. We're a great community and I appreciate it. So that's about it, man. For me.
We really appreciate your time. There's very little chance that anybody listening to this right now isn't already following you. But if you're not, immediately go to Twitter, and he's at Sojo B-Man Ute Fan. That's GangGreenUtesFan on Twitter. You will never ever regret that follow. So go out and give him the props that he deserves. Branden, we so appreciate your time. You have been phenomenal. I could not think of a better way to end this Fanley Cup series. And
hey, let's end it with a crushy.
Cheers.
A crushy though for the camera.
Wait.
You know me
I do
when
have
I'm
a
famous
drink. I
for
went to
chugging,
go.
but this one's chugged, but I was gonna do a crushy for you.
Do it.
To end the
Go
series.
for it.
Let's go, Clubbers for life, baby! Utah Mammoth.
Utah Mammoth Clubbers for life, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Branden, thank you for your time. Dustin, as always, enjoy it. Everybody out there, enjoy the off season. Take a break, go out, enjoy, and have a great night.